sunshine. It's Malika here, host of Feel Good, the podcast, or the podcast formerly known as Feel Good. In addition to hosting this podcast, I'm also a spiritual truth seeker, student, teacher, spiritual guide, life coach, specifically for the unique challenges presented to the seers, the healers, and the feelers on this planet at this time. I wanted to talk about, there's been a lot of different people speaking about the rising of the feminine energy. And I saw this amazing movie. If you've listened to previous episodes, you know that I love a lot of different things, and a good story is one of them because it's such a great teacher and demonstration, I think, sometimes of spiritual practices and principles. And it just brings it home. It makes it make sense and anchors it in something versus just, like this kind of idea that can be floating. So I wanted to talk about the feminine energy and the feminine rising. And the intelligence of the feminine energy, one of the ways that information is communicated on that frequency and wavelength is through our feelings. Not emotions, those are something different, but through our feeling sense if something feels good or something feels right or something feels off. And because we're in a patriarchal society that, values the masculine above the feminine, sometimes even discards the feminine. I'm saying sometimes, putting it nicely, that the mental energy is considered supreme and most valuable. And our felt sense and our intuition is discredited sometimes and not seen as valuable. I encourage people to access both. That's for another topic. What I want to delve into here today, though, is a couple of things, and that is the value of honoring and paying attention to our feeling sense. So for a number of years, I was basically commissioned to design and teach a women's self-defense class. This seemed like such a heavy lift for me. I always love, and I've designed curriculum in a lot of different topics and for a lot of different demographics, but I had never taken a self-defense class. So the idea of designing curriculum, for one, there's a theme here because there's another opportunity I shared before about answering a call to teach Sunday school, and I had never taught Sunday school before. So here we are again. I was commissioned by the director of my department to teach and to design curriculum for a women's self-defense class for the staff. And I did it, and I audited several different classes and did some of my own research. And one of the very first things, normally when somebody comes to a women's self-defense class or any self-defense class, right, we expect to learn how to throw some punches, maybe say no in like our most ferocious roar, and kick some ass, right? Like we want to be able to kick some ass. Some people don't want to. Some people will run, and we can be socialized to not want to hurt someone else, physically or otherwise, even if it's to our own detriment. I'm raising my hand because I have come into that with emotionally not setting boundaries or speaking my mind. That aside, for another episode, one of the very first things that I came across and that we taught in self-defense was honoring women's intuition. There's a book by Gavin DeBecker. Oprah had him on her TV show when she had her show that was going 5 days a week. And he has a book called The Gift of Fear. If I was to highlight and summarize it very succinctly, one of the things that he pulls out is how when women had experienced some level of assault, one of the things, this is like, I think he was talking about from strangers or people they didn't know. One of the commonalities is that they had a sense about them that they didn't like them or didn't feel right. And then they would feel bad about that thought or rationalize in their mind, this person didn't do anything to me. Why do I not like them? Or all those things, right? And they talk themselves out of their intuition. And so we would teach, a fight avoided is a fight won. Meaning if you listen to your intuition, that you can avoid potentially being in challenging situations or dangerous situations. And evidence of that also was, there's a lot going on right now in Palestine and between Israel. And one of the things, it's been hazy, so I can't remember which side that they did this, if it was the Palestinian side or if it was the Israeli side. But what they started doing was they started having women at their border. And the women would suss out if somebody's energy was off. Like, this person over here, this person seems pretty sketch. Something about them is off. And they were able, just from their intuition, they were able to suss out and prevent a lot more violence based on that skill. So guys have the brawn, right? Most men are physically stronger than women, but our superpower is that intuitive sense, that frequency of the feminine, which is usually a felt sense. Sometimes it can come across as a thought, depends on how it communicates with you. So I'm bringing up this to say, because I just saw a movie that was so great at this, and I think part of the challenge when we are connected to our felt sense is that we are harder to manipulate. We are harder to gaslight. But if we don't know to value it, if we don't know what our intuition is and we don't know that it's valuable, then we gaslight ourselves by talking ourselves out of the feelings that we're having and the experiences that we're having. And so a great, 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 great movie. It's a classic. And I'm going to give you a chance to watch it before I give you a spoiler, which means I need to post it fast because I think it's only on Netflix to the end of the month. But a great movie that shows the gift of intuition is Groundhog's Day. It came out in 1993. It's a classic, one of the first movies that I'm aware of its kind, with The Loop. It has Bill Murray and I don't know the actress's name who plays Rita, and a couple of other familiar faces you'll see in there. But basically, Rita's character, and I'm not going to spoil it now in case you haven't seen it, but I am going to spoil it in my follow-up episode about this. But she is connected and trusts her intuition. And I just encourage you, even if you've already seen it, I'd seen it many, many years ago and forgot. I remembered the theme, but I forgot a lot of the nuances. But it's a comedy, and it demonstrates the gift of intuition and of trusting those feelings. And it's not just, of course, exclusive to women. Men have it as well, because we both are, I believe, a mix of both masculine and feminine, whether you are in the masculine form physically or whether you are a hybrid of they, them, both, or whether you're a feminine form. We all have an alchemy of our mother and our father, the feminine and the masculine. So that's the homework. I would love to hear your feedback in the comments if you loved this episode. And if you haven't already, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you comment on iTunes, I'll see it and I'll give you a shout out in a future episode. In the meantime, be well. Take good care of yourself. You are such a blessing, whether people communicate that to you all the time or not. I'm here to remind you of that you are a blessing to someone. Someone smiles when you walk into the room. And if you're not aware of who that is, then you be that person who smiles when you walk into the room. Go into the bathroom and smile at yourself, because you have come a long, long way. Sometimes we forget that because we always look at where else we want to go, what else we have to do. But brother, sister, sibling, you've come a long way. And I just want to leave you with that appreciation of the road that you've already traveled, the person who you have already become, and that it's a blessing. All right, signing off for now. Much love. Take good care. Bye.